They have kidnapped President Maduro of Venezuela. The theys are who else? The West, the United States of America, specifically Donald J. Trump, has orchestrated the kidnapping of a world leader and his wife. This stuff now is gone way past, way past the normal. And I said to myself, I said I will come on. The very first thing that happens this year, I am going to come on here and start the ball rolling for 2026. It's absolutely incredible. These guys have gone into a nation and kidnapped a world leader and his wife. This is this is unprecedented in, I would say, modern warfare. And I want to pull out all of the conspiracy theories, the potential thoughts, the potential contexts of what's going on, and analyze this thing down to the bare bones. Number one, it would be probably very difficult to rush into Venezuela, considering Venezuela has a legitimate, I would say, a very legitimate set of armed forces, to rush in there with minimal casualties and abduct Maduro. Most likely, let me use both sides of this, right? Most likely, there's been a coup in Venezuela, and Maduro was given up by his own administration, his own soldiers, his own leadership, basically allowed him to be taken hostage. That's probably closer to what actually has taken place, because America, I believe they've launched a couple of some cover fire on the docks. They've hit Nicaragua with some ear to ground stuff, and all of a sudden off goes the president. In my opinion, it's something internal. It's typical West, an overthrowing of one particular regime, replacing it with a regime that's favorable to them, and of course having to remove the current person in power themselves, and not having it look like there was an internal conflict amongst the people of that particular nation. We've seen it in Africa, we've seen it in the Caribbean, we've seen it throughout history. This is what they do. We've seen it in the Middle East with Iraq, we've seen it with Afghanistan, and then usually they go back around and turn on that person and have to kill them and take them out too. They've done it multiple times, right? They've done it multiple times. Saddam Hussein was put there by the Bush administration, and then he was taken out, right? We see it with Bin Laden. Bin Laden and the Taliban were CIA trained individuals. They were trained by the CIA to get Russia out of Afghanistan, and then put in power. And then, of course, we know how that has gone. They became, enemy number one for a large period of time. And we've seen America do that in Grenada, rushing in, doing things under the guise of, oh, we're here to stop drugs. There's no amount of drugs in the world that would have caused them to go in and abduct a world leader. Okay, you can't just say, well, there's drug transports that are coming to America. If you know there's drugs transports coming to America, stop them before they get to America. That's a lie. We know what's going on in Venezuela. Venezuela, in the world, has the second largest oil reserves, and there's more coming. Considering what's taking place in Guyana, which is connected, that they're going after all of these natural resources. They have to. They need to. The West has been kicked out of Africa. The West is going bankrupt. Europe is going bankrupt. France is going bankrupt. And so if they can go into an easy location and acquire all of their resources, acquire all of their wealth, and change the economic power structure locally, they're going to do so. This had to be done with the complacency of Russia. Hey, we're about to go take this guy out, don't step in. They got to be in the complacency of China and all of these other world powers that operate under the same mantra as Venezuela, a place that's usually run by one dominant autocratic leader, um, they had to be complicit in this. And so America rushes in there and abducts a man and his wife, and all of this goes under the cover of the darkness of night. Of course, it has to be revealed, and everybody goes about their business thinking that Trump has done the world a favor, and all of this is just absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy because, and then we can go. Let's use the other side of it. Let's say they didn't have the cooperation of the Venezuelan government. And America, with its technology and surveillance, and it's very interesting that that Trump is standing next to Benjamin Netanyahu when he's making this statement, right? That's part three. I'll get into that in a second. But America now, let's say they didn't have the cooperation of the Venezuelan administration and Venezuelan officials, Venezuelan government. And Trump is effectively trying to annex another government, like do exactly what Russia is trying to do to Ukraine, right? Do exactly what Netanyahu is trying to do to Palestine. Trump decides, I'm going to do that to Venezuela. I'm going to transform Venezuela into the 52nd state of America. I'm going to wipe away all their administration. I'm going to become the de facto dictator of an oil-rich nation. And we're going to step in there and we're going to put our own people there. We're never going to let them be independent again. We're going to make sure that they are a satellite state of the United States of America. That is even more insidious than the first scenario, because that means that there will no longer effectively be a Venezuela. This is what's exactly happening in Israel with the West Bank. And Trump unequivocally said, I will not let Israel annex the West Bank. The audacity of speaking out of both sides of your mouth. And it's very interesting to see what is going to happen with Maduro and his wife, how their lives are going to be forfeit in order for this particular situation to happen. Three scenarios. They're going to be either charged with international war crimes and arrested forever. They're going to disappear and go into one of these American holding camps for the rest of their lives, or they're going to allow them to be exiled to some secret hush-hush place that they put them. One of those scenarios is going to happen, and we should actually pay very, very close attention. When world governments get to the place where there is no more international rule of law, where you have a bully government utilizing all of their articles and weapons of warfare to go and to basically apprehend other world leaders, we have now arrived back. We have gone backwards to a feudal time in the world. We've changed the president title into the warlord title. And Trump clearly is looking to have his day in the sun so that he can have another war, just like everyone else is having their war. All of his boys are having their own war. Let's get to the Netanyahu scenario. The fact that he's standing next to Benjamin Netanyahu and making this announcement is extremely symbolic if it's not intentional. It's to demonstrate that, hey, let me show you guys how to do it. You got a problem with another nation? Let me show you how to do it. You run in there and you kidnap the leader. What is stopping Putin right now from saying, you know what, Donald, you're right. I'm going to go pick up Zelensky, his wife, and his children, and I'm going to go let them hang out with me here in the Kremlin. And then we're going to walk into that Ukrainian country and do whatever we want. The precedent that has been set here for 2026 and for world powers to say that if America can do it, we will do it too. And Africa needs to be very, very careful now and batten down the hatches. Because once America decides that they can arbitrarily step into smaller nations and take them over, kidnap their leaders, appropriate all of their wealth, appropriate all of their resources. It opens it up for the entire of NATO. NATO will say, if America can do it, we can do it. France will be doing it next. France will be attempting to do it next. Good morning, Tammy. How are you? How are you, everybody? Ashanti Black. I didn't say good morning to you, but bless you, man. Bless you. Sorry. Good morning. Hit the like button. I appreciate that. Listen, when you have nations that have started to move on this level and start to move in this direction, there's a lot of things that start happening economically that you have to be very aware of now. Because imagine you are in Venezuela and imagine that you're doing business in Venezuela. Think of the economic, and that country's already been in a lot of problems, but think of the value of the Venezuelan currency right now. Think of the value of your house. Think of the legitimacy of any economic system going on in that nation at this moment. The uncertainty that's happening in Venezuela it's astronomical. Think of being an executive in control of oil or holding shares in any Venezuelan oil. None of those things are worth anything. And that's the pressure that America will say. You guys are, it's one thing to take over the presidency, to kidnap a president. But what about the executives who control the corporations? They can walk in there and say, hey, it all belongs to us now. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to basically allow you to sell it to us legally, pennies on the dollar, pennies. Your shares are going to be worth pennies, and you better take it because we're just going to take it anyway. And if we could take your president, we can kill you. It destabilizes everything that we refer to now as civilization. And I think people now should be very careful in respect to how they treat or think about the West. The West is not a civilized place. The West is not a place that is run by laws. It is run by the white capitalist system that decides to do what it decides to do, period. And because Trump needed another major financial resource to compete with what the West is losing out of Africa, what the West is losing out of Saudi Arabia, and all of these other areas that now the West has said we are in a financial deficit because the West was going bankrupt. He had to do this. He had to do this. And the annexing of Venezuelan gold, right? And let me talk about the other side of the economics. This is now a time where there's going to be billionaires made overnight, where individuals who decide this new company, and they're going to do that, they're going to create new companies, whether it be Exxon or whether it be someone else that creates a new company that annexes this oil. Somebody's going to get rich overnight by investing in what these new companies are. If they allow them to be even publicly traded, they might be privately held by the American government, period. And therefore, no one makes money other than the American administrative machine. So it's run on. I'm white and I say so. What? It's it's basically, it is run on the fact that I'm white. This is what I want to do. We have the machines, we have the power, we have the weapons of warfare, we have the technology, and I'm going to take over, and that's it. And nobody has anything to say about it. And watch what the news, watch the whole mentality, watch CNN, watch Fox, watch everything. Everything in the American administrative system right now is going to agree with this. No one's going to push back. No one's going to scream and say, oh my gosh, America's lost their mind. Oh my gosh, Donald Trump has become a new dictator of the world. He's the greatest. He is the biggest terrorist in the world right now. He is the number one terrorist in the world. He is telling everybody what to do, but while at the same time, he's doing anything he decides to do, anything he wants to do, right? This is crazy. And he doesn't require Congress or the Senate or anybody else, the House, to give him declaration or papers of warfare. He just goes in there and does it. And so where is the world right now with a Trump? And this guy he's an egomaniac, right? He's a megalomaniac. He's a man that decides, whoa, okay, if I can do this, what else can I do? What else can I do? And this is not the time to talk crazy to this guy. This is a guy who will probably say, you know what? If we can do it to Maduro, we can do it to Canada. If we can do it to Canada, we can go over there and do it to Traore. This is not a guy to be to be messed with at this particular time. He's become a very dangerous and very unstable man. And it's funny, I'm watching a rerun, I'm just watching it again, of the Game of Thrones. And the entire premise of the Game of Thrones, before, for those who watched it, it starts off with the murder of what was called the Mad King. He had dragons. He wanted to see everybody burn. They called him the Mad King. And if anybody looks like a Mad King, it's Donald Trump. He has gone further, I believe, than any modern president has gone. He has gone far. And this is equivalent to the killing of Gaddafi. It's equivalent to the killing of Gaddafi. Remember, America tried to take out Castro for years. Little Castro in Cuba couldn't get to Castro, but they got to Maduro and his wife. This is unprecedented, ladies and gentlemen. And what's going to happen next in 2026? Like, it's 2026 and say, oh well, I'll give you guys a couple of days to breathe, but now, boom, this is incredible. And what's going to happen next? I can't even begin to think about it, because this is why. And anybody who's making predictions, who can predict what's happening next, good for you. But I'll tell you why it's almost impossible. Because what's happening next is only in the mind of the Mad King. Whatever Donald decides to do next, Donald's not sitting down talking to his cabinet. He's not talking to his generals. Donald Trump is making this up on the go. There's no plays here. There's no playbook. There's no manuscript. He is making it up on the go. There's no teleprompter. It's him that's deciding to do these moves, period. Right? He's not a stupid man. And this agenda to go after Venezuela, it was like, hey, why don't we just go get Venezuela's oil? What are we going to say? Well, they're illegal. Let's just say they're illegally, transporting drugs. It's a war on drugs. Let's do the war on drugs again. Let's go back to 1980s with Reagan, war on drugs. Let's go get them. And that's what this whole thing is. It's basically made up out of hot air. And President Maduro and his wife, apparently they're on a ship right now. That's what they were said. That ship thing is probably done. They're in a cell somewhere. I'm very interested to know what happens, and I would love some people to follow it. I'm going to follow this every day. Where is President Maduro and his wife? Who is running Venezuela? Who controls Venezuelan oil? Those are the three biggest questions. And question number 4, what's next for Donald? What's the next move from the Mad King? What is he going to do next? Who is he going to acquire next? And Canada, right up the street, with the largest oil, we have the largest oil deposits in the world. There's no more raw oil, crude oil. We've got more than everybody. We can't refine it, but we got more than everybody. Venezuela has oil reserves. We've got crude oil sitting right above them. And I don't know if they don't want to play with the NATO people up here. They say, well, this is NATO. We don't want to mess with it. It's another NATO country. But Venezuela, it's an open market. They did the same thing to Congo, ladies and gentlemen. Congo, they went in there. It started with the Belgian King Leopold, and it went on to everybody else. Congo is just a dip and move. Congo has no real structure. Anybody can fly in there, pick it up, and leave. So I don't know what's going to happen with Venezuela, if it's going to become an open market, because it is oil. It has to be refined. It has to be done a certain type of way. It's not like you can go there and dig in the ground like Congo, but it's going to be very interesting to see who owns Venezuela. If Venezuela is going to be allowed to be an independent nation ever again, it's going to be very interesting to see. Very interesting. You cannot predict someone who is not strategic and unpredictable. Exactly. Yeah. I'm trying to understand what was the reason. Yeah, it's you can't. And the reason, sometimes when you can't understand the reason, it's really simple. Right? It's really simple. I used to be a policeman, right? When you see a murder and it's like you can't figure out, well, what's going on here? Like, it's weird. How did this happen? The spouse did it. Like, it gets down to simple. It's a crime of passion that was orchestrated. When it seems senseless, it's usually simple. And this is very simple. It's Donald saying, that's an easy target. They got a lot of money. It's like an old thug that sees a rich old man closing up his shop every day and saying, how come nobody goes in there and takes this guy's money? You know what? I'm going to go take his doggone money. He's got no protection. And if he does have any, I can deal with it. Why doesn't anybody touch this guy? And that's what Donald did. He went there and simply stuck up Venezuela and took the doggone president hostage. That's crazy. He said, we're not even going to kill you. We're not even going to blow you up, bro. We're just going to walk in there, take you hostage. Come with us, bro. Sit down here. Sign over your country to us. Yeah, oh no, you're not going anywhere. You better not say anything. If you're lucky, I'll put you on an island of Malta and let you retire quietly, but don't act up. I got your wife here too. Like it's mafia is what it is. It's gangster. That's what it is. And it's definitely not civilized government. It's not what government is supposed to represent. It's crazy. It's crazy. And so I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to come back and check on if there's any updates. I'm going to get back to it, but it's absolutely unprecedented to see a nation annexed by the West, their president taken hostage, his wife taken hostage, put in a ship, and say, okay, now that you're off the board, let's go in there and see what's happening. I'm going to keep my eyes peeled to see what's going on in Venezuela, what's next for this nation, if they will appoint a president. This is how you can tell. If Venezuela appoints a new leader, this was orchestrated by America. If Venezuela does not appoint a new leader, does not appoint a new president, does not appoint a new leader, then again, orchestrated by America to say, you will never be a state again. We are the leaders of your country, not you, right? We are the leaders. But if Maduro gets a replacement that just pops up, then Venezuela turned him over. And the person that America decided to be in power is declaring that he's in power right now. So that's really what I'm going to watch in the next little while. No more than 48 hours ago, Maduro made an attempt to capitulate and de-escalate the situation. Right. Now this. Yeah, exactly. Because he realized something was up, either internally or externally. And, and plus the great things about the nations right now, it's hard to keep information quiet. Russia knows everything that's going on. You can't talk to yourself without Russia figuring it out. With nations like Venezuela, if he probably was cooperating more with Putin, probably on Putin's side more, talking to Putin and saying, listen, come in here and do whatever you want. But Trump's relationship with Putin, I think, trumped this situation. No pun intended. It became what was more dominant in this situation. And Trump came in here and did what he wanted. Keep your eyes peeled. This is Del K. Brereton. This is The Real Spiel. And I used to say, I ain't afraid of these ninjas, but these ninjas are making people very afraid. Donald Trump, he's the biggest ninja out there. And we got to keep our eye on that old polecat because he's doing way too much. All right, we'll talk soon. I'll be back. This is The Real Spiel in 2026, baby. And it's Del K. Brereton signing out.